with the non-fact.
Yes. Immediately that produces conflict because it can't be done.
Conflict, misery, confusion, all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why does the mind do it? The mind does it because it doesn't know what to do with this fact of violence. Therefore, it's in abstracting the idea of not being violent, postpones action.
Mm-hmm.
I am trying not to be violent. And in the meantime, I'm jolly well violent.
Yes.
And it is an escape from the fact. All abstractions are escape from the fact. So, the mind does it because it is incapable of dealing with the fact, or it doesn't want to deal with the fact, or it is lazy and say, well, I'll try and do it some other day. All those are involved when it withdraws from the fact. Now, in the same way, the fact is our relationship is non-existent. I may say to my wife, I love you, I'm etc., etc., but it's non-existent. Because I have an image about her and she has an image about me. So, on abstractions we have lived.
It just occurred to me that the word fact itself, which there have been no end of disquisitions about.
Of course. Fact, what is, let's call it what is.
But actually it means something done.
Done, yes.
Not the record of something, but actually something done, performed, act. And it's that sense of fact that with our use of the word fact, give me facts and figures. We say in English, give me facts. We don't mean that when we say it.
No.
If one probably wouldn't need facts and figures in that abstract sense.
This is
yes, I
reveals a tremendous law.
I follow.
When you feel responsible for education of your children. Not only your children.
Mm-hmm.
Are you educating them to conform to a society? Are you educating them to merely acquire a job? Are you educating them to the continuity of what has been?
Mm-hmm.
Are you educating them to live in abstractions, as we are doing now?
Mm-hmm.
So what is your responsibility as a father, mother, doesn't matter who you are, responsible in an education, for the education of a human being? That's one problem. What is your responsibility if you feel responsible for human growth, human culture, human goodness? What's your responsibility to the earth? To nature? You follow? It is a tremendous thing to feel responsible.
This just came to mind, which I must ask you about. The word negation in the book that we looked at earlier, which is continuous with what we're saying, I think is itself rather endangered by the usual notion that we have of negation, which is simply a prohibition, which is not meant.
No.
Which is not meant.
Of course.
When we reviewed that incident in the Gita between the general and his charioteer, the Lord Krishna, the Lord's response was a negation without it being a prohibition.
Quite, quite.
Wasn't it?
I don't know. I'm
no, I mean in terms of what we just got through seeing.
Course,
yes. There's a difference then between rearing a child in terms of relating to the child radically in the present, in which negation, as is mentioned in the book here that we went through, is continuously and immediately and actively present, and simply walking around saying to oneself, now I'm rearing a child, therefore I mustn't do these things, and I mustn't do those things, I must do that. Exactly. An entirely different thing. But
so
one has to break the habit of seeing negation as prohibition.
And also, you see, with responsibility goes love, care, attention.
Yes, earlier I was going to ask you about care in relation to responsibility. Something that would flow immediately, naturally. Yes. Not something that I'd have to project that I needed to care for later.
Yeah.
And so I won't forget.
I mean,
but I would be with it. Yes.
See, but that involves a great deal too, because the mother depends on the child. And the child depends on the mother or the father, whatever it is. So that dependence is cultivated. Not only between the father and the mother, but depend on a teacher. Depend on somebody to tell you what to do. Depend on your guru.
Yes,
so
I'm
gradually the child, the man, is incapable of standing alone. And therefore he says, I must depend on my wife for my comfort, for my sex, for my this or that and the other thing. I'm lost without her. And I'm lost without my guru, without my teacher. It becomes so ridiculous. So when the feeling of responsibility exists, all this disappears. You are responsible for your behavior, for the way you bring up your children, for the way you treat a dog, a neighbor, the nature, everything is in your hands. Therefore, you have to become astonishingly careful what you do. Careful, not I must not do this and I must do that. Care. That means affection, that means consideration, diligence. All that goes with responsibility, which present society totally denies. When we begin to discuss the various gurus that are imported in this country,